Today I'm going to show you how to make this beautiful tender oxtail soup. Look at that meat, it's just falling apart at the bones. It is so easy to make, and as always I've written a blog post which I'll leave down below, which has the full recipe and step-by-step instructions to how to make this beautiful oxtail soup. And be sure to leave a like, subscribe for more videos, comment too, let me know what you think of this recipe and if you try it. So let me show you how to make it. It is super budget friendly. I've got 2 packs here. This one was €3.45. That pack was €3.22, and this will feed my family for days, and it is such an easy piece of meat to cook. It does take a bit of time, slow cooking, and I prefer cooking mine over a couple of days, but I'll talk you through as I go. So I'm going to open up our packages of oxtail and give it a good salting. I've sprinkled a generous couple of shakes of salt over the oxtail, and now I'm going to get started cooking. So I've got my saucepan, a large one, heating up. I'm using coconut oil, but you could use your oil of choice, and once it's hot we're going to brown all the oxtail in batches. So it just depends on the size of your saucepan or your pot, how much you can cook at a time. I usually do mine in 2 batches, which I will do now. So I've got the first batch of meat in my saucepan. I've got it nice and sizzling, and I'm just going to keep tossing it until it's browned all over. So I've given them the first flip over. They're just starting to brown. We'll just brown until every corner is completely browned, and then move off to a plate. So I've got the first batch of oxtail browned, I've got the second batch browning in the saucepan, and while that's happening I've also chopped up an onion and a whole lot of garlic, and once the second batch of oxtail's almost brown we'll throw that in and get it a toss through, give it a toss through to just soften slightly, and then pop all the oxtail back in the pot. So the second batch of oxtail is pretty much browned. I've added in the onion and garlic. We'll give it a minute to brown through, and then we'll add all the rest of the oxtail back in. All the oxtails back in the pot, and now I'm just going to pour water over to cover. And we'll just cover all the oxtail with water, just rejig them around until they're all completely submerged. Just like that. And now we're going to bring the oxtail up to the bubble, up to simmer, and then reduce it down to gently bubble. And you can let it bubble for 2 to 3 hours if you want to eat it straight away. The longer you cook it for, the better, the tenderer the meat will get, and it'll all just fall off the bones. I tend to cook it for about 2 hours today, take it off the heat, allow it to cool completely, and then heat it back up tomorrow, which is what I'll do, and I'll show you. So I'm just going to let it come up to bubble and then simmer it for 2 hours. The oxtail has cooked for 2 hours. I've now taken it off the heat, and I'm going to let it cool completely and then store it in the fridge overnight. This just brings so much flavour. As I said, you could cook it in one go for a few hours and then eat it straight away, but I just find the flavour that it develops over a day of just being in the fridge is just so worth the extra effort. Barely any effort at all, it's just a bit of time in the fridge. So I will catch up with you tomorrow when I cook it for our meal. And it's now the next day, and the oxtail has been in the fridge overnight. It's not focusing for some reason. Oh, there you go. It's been in the fridge overnight, and it's developed this thick layer of fat on top, you can see. And what we do is we take the whole layer of fat off, and you can either throw it away in the bin, all this fat, or you can pop it into a bowl, keep it in the fridge, and use it as a cooking oil fat. Some people do that. It's like lard. So we're going to toss all that away and then get it cooking. So the layer of fat has been removed from the top of the oxtail, and now I'm going to pop it back onto the heat, and it's up to you how long to cook it for. 1 to 2 hours I would suggest, and as it gets close to being ready I like to just add in a bit of broccoli. I keep it really simple with my oxtail soup, so I just add in broccoli. You can add in potatoes, you can add in really any vegetables you like. I'll leave some ideas in the blog post down below, but I will pop this on to bring it up to the boil, reduce it down again to a gentle simmer, and let it cook until the meat is falling off the bones. Okay, it's been another hour and a half, and the meat is just falling off the bones. It is so super beautifully tender. So I'm just going to add in some broccoli and just cook that for a bit. So I've added the broccoli in, I've brought it up to bubble, and I'm just going to let it simmer. It won't take too long to get the broccoli to cook, and then I'll serve out a bowl full. And there you go, there's my beautiful bowl full of oxtail soup. I found that the broccoli breaks through the richness of the meat beautifully, and just look at that meat falling off the bone. It is so tender, you can just cut through it with a spoon. It is just beautiful. But that is the video for how to make oxtail soup. I hope you've enjoyed watching the video and that you'll enjoy this lovely meal, and be sure to leave a like, subscribe for more videos, comment too, let me know if you give the recipe a try and what you think of it. And remember to check down below for the link to the blog post, which has the full recipe, step-by-step instructions, and loads of variations for other inclusions, other vegetables that you can include in your lovely oxtail soup. But just look at that beautiful tender meat. So thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you again soon. Bye.